Thank you, Sean. Well, he is the author of at least 20 books. 2 of them have been made into movies, and he created the NBC series James at 15. The list goes on. He was the recipient of the Sagamore of the Wabash, and now there's an effort underway to rename an Indianapolis City park in his honor. We are very happy to have Dan Wakefield join us live today in studio to talk about the re-release of his book that is called Under the Apple Tree. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. It's actually a new edition, a very beautiful new edition of Under the Apple Tree, and I'm really happy to have it out there because it's one of my favorite of my books, and it's really based on my time being a home front patriot during World War II. I was 9 years old when the war started, so I collected scrap metal and thousands of pounds of paper, but most importantly, I sat on the roof of my house at 61st and Winthrop looking for enemy airplanes. And it seemed odd that enemy airplanes would come over Indianapolis, but I think everybody in the country wanted to feel that their home was part of the war effort and part of being threatened, and you had to be ready to defend it. So that made me feel special that I was up there with my binoculars. I had memorized the outlines of Stukas and Zeros and all the enemy planes, so I was ready.
So you're 83 years old now. Yeah. You went to Shortridge High School, an Eagle Scout, something that is very, very notable. You left Indianapolis and lived on the East Coast and in New York and Boston and have taught for the last 50 years. What brings you back to Indianapolis now?
Well, I think partly Kurt Vonnegut, because he was a friend. He really was the godfather of my first novel, Going All the Way. Reviewed it in Life magazine, and when the review came out, another friend said, I see the Shortridge Mafia is at it again. But I edited a book of Kurt Vonnegut letters, and that brought me back to speak at the Vonnegut Library, and I met some old friends, and one thing led to another, and it's been great. And part of being back, part of what's been great has been Indy Reads and the Indy Reads bookstore, where I'm giving this talk tomorrow night about the book. That's been a very special part of my life back here.
What do you think about this effort to honor you by renaming a park for you?
Well, the nice thing about it is the guy who had the idea is somebody I had never known. So he just liked my book, so that made it very special to me. But I would never have imagined such a thing. But I did, it turns out I wrote about the park in Going All the Way, when the boy goes to photograph things, and being at that park and seeing the little kids makes him hopeful about things.
Okay, well, we'll keep an eye on that effort. In the meantime, if you're interested, you can meet Dan, even get a signed copy of his book and hear his talk at this party tomorrow night that is at Indy Reads Books on Mass Avenue. The event tomorrow is from 5:30 till 7:30. The book is Under the Apple Tree. Dan Wakefield, thank you for joining us live in studio. It was a pleasure to meet you.
Thanks a lot.
All right.